Missouri City, Texas. It's always a day in Missouri City, Texas.
Yes, it is.
But yes, give it up for Missouri City.
Yeah.
But it's truly a great day here in the Vicksburg subdivision, here at the corner of Shiloh and what?
Liberty Way.
And what?
Liberty Way.
All right, Liberty Way. We don't even want to say formally this because, you know, I even struggled this morning to find, I tried to find the address through GPS called Waze, right? And so in putting it in Waze, I had to pull up that other name. And so I said, you know what, I'm just going to find my way around and not even press the other name because this is truly a great day in Missouri City. It took a long time for us to get here, well before not only I joined council and many of us joined our respective offices, before I even moved to Missouri City. There have been people, boots on the ground, people that have been trying to get these names changed for quite a long time, and today we're here. I want to, before I acknowledge the individuals that are up here today, just talk about our purpose, our welcome, and the reason that we're here this morning. We're here this morning because individuals, not me, not the people that are up here that actually made a decision to support this effort, but the individuals that live on these respective streets chose to rally themselves together by signing a petition and saying that they wanted to bring about change so that they could have a name that would unify them as a community. So some people, of course, may have been okay with allowing the name to remain, and that's fine if that was your position. But the collective group, the majority, decided that this is what they want. Tax-paying citizens, residents, free-spirited people in Missouri City, Texas. And so for them, we need to give them a round of applause. I want to acknowledge all of the residents that played a role in making this happen today. And with that being said, I want to, before again announcing the elected officials, bring up the individuals that led the charge, spearheaded bringing Liberty Way Court and Liberty Way Drive to fruition. And we'll start with the Pearsons. Reginald Pearson and his wife, Akila. Rodney Pearson and Akila. And Angie. Rodney and Angie.
Thank you guys for doing this.
So,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. You want to go?
No, go ahead.
Okay, that's quick. Today is a outstanding day because I live here. The people standing out there who live on this street all feel something. If you embrace certain values of, I think, fairness, goodness, kindness, doing honorable things. And I think that being able to have a street that says Liberty Way, as I discussed it with my wife, Freedom Way, you know, I think that's a great name to follow the name that was there. And it took everybody on the street who opened the door and signed that piece of paper and told me a story. Because I hadn't been here as long as some of the people. But I appreciate them giving up that 5 or 10 minutes it took to have a conversation. It's not about me. It's about the street. It's about the people. It's about the families. It's about the work. It's about the kids that ride their bikes. You know, it's a wonderful place and a wonderful street name for those kids to ride their bikes under an appropriate name. I feel it's appropriate. And it's modern, and it's where we are, where we should be, in the direction we should keep going. So thank you to all the people on the street. Wouldn't be here without you. Thank you to the people on the street who were here before me, who tried this already. And thanks to the people who work for the city that got together and took the votes. And thanks for the representative of us, our congressman here. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You want to say some words?
I just want to say I am so happy. For me, living on this street with the name that it was really just, to me, disrespecting our ancestors. And when I say disrespecting, because we're living on a street that's honoring somebody who killed a lot of them. So I am so happy today that I can finally wake up from that house right there and look at this street sign and no longer see that name. So thank you for everybody who helped in this effort.
Thank you all. Thank you. You know, speaking of people that have been living on this street for a long time, and before I bring up some of the original individuals who helped to change Confederate Drive, Court, in Confederate South to prosperity, I was speaking to a lady, I think, come on up here. Her mom moved here in 1990, and in 1992, she led an effort to try to bring about the change on the street and was unsuccessful and did not get the support to be able to do it. Come on up, introduce yourself, and talk about that experience.
Good morning, everyone. My mother is Gwendolyn Scott. She currently lives in Lovelady, Texas, but she did begin the initiative in '92 to try to change the name. She educated the salesperson from Perry Homes as he did not understand the significance of the name. This change brings, as you said, kindness, modernness, and most importantly, equity. And I am very proud to represent her today, and I thank you all for coming out. Thank you to all of our elected officials and everyone here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'd like to bring up those that kicked this thing off and got everybody excited and motivated to bring about the respective changes on their streets. Bo and Rhonda Gilbo. Let's give it up.
All right. Is everybody doing okay today? Well, I just want to say thank you for everybody digging in and really showing a lot of effort and support to change the street names, because when we first moved here, I told her, I said, God dog it, I got to live on Confederate Drive? I said, what, I know it's Texas, so I get it, I understand, and I know we can't erase history, I understand that too, but you know what, we can make a wrong turn into a right. So, I mean, it's not about the past. Perry Holmes shouldn't even had the chance to do what he did. But the rules and the laws allowed him to slide this slick Confederate stuff inside this neighborhood. So I think what we should do, each and every one of you that's right here today, we should take charge to change each and every street that's out here that has some sort of Confederacy attached to it, because that's not what we're about today. And to be honest with you, the Confederate soldiers lost the war, and they all should be criminals to a certain degree. But I don't want to say too much because I'll get hyped up here. So my thing is, I'm going to let my wife be the nicer of the two, because I'm going to go somewhere deep and dark and let it be known. But this is my beautiful wife, Rhonda, of 23 years, and I want to introduce her up.
All right.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Rhonda Gilbo, and all I can say is it's a great day. It's a day of inclusion, unity, and equity, as the young lady just said. I am very, very excited for all of us, and I just really want to thank the Pearsons, Angie and Rodney, for listening, because after we were able to change our streets, several of them, I was like, I know they don't want to be on Bedford Forest. I'm saying the name. It's gone. It's Liberty Way, Liberty Court. And he listened. And all we did is took the blueprint that had already been out for us, and they took the charge. So neighbors, we appreciate you, and let's keep the momentum going. Give yourselves a round of applause.
Thank you all. Before I bring up my colleagues that I serve with proudly on the Missouri City Council, I'd like a few other elected officials to speak, and then I'll have them come up, and then Congressman Green. Let's bring up our state representative, Ron Reynolds.
Well, Jeff, much has already been said. I'm just so elated. I'm so ecstatic that today we're able to celebrate a new beginning. And I know that our ancestors, as was stated before, I believe that they're smiling from heaven. And we all stand on the shoulders of those who came before us. And we thank your mother and those who had started this process. And under our watch, we were able to help finish it. But the work is not done. There's still more Confederate named streets, and I will not rest until we get rid of all of them. So this is a day of celebration, but the work must continue. Thank you all. God bless you.
All right, now we want to bring up our illustrious Fort Bend County Judge, KP George.
Like Ron just said, enough is said, and it is a good day. And in Fort Bend, every level you see transformational leadership. That's what it means, and I could see that, and I'm so excited. The residents took that charge, and this shows that sometimes people say I don't have any power. No, you do. You elect people. You go and ask them the right thing, and they have to respond with respect. And this is an example of Missouri City listening. And I heard 1991 somebody tried to change that, didn't happen. Oh, we came a long way. So in Fort Bend, things are happening equitable way. And I always said this, my job as a county judge to make sure everybody feel they belong here. And you are part of this community, and it doesn't matter. It's not my job to look at your color or skin of the color or your gender. None of that is not my job. I love everybody, and I appreciate you giving me an opportunity to serve. And we are moving forward. That's why we use that hashtag Fort Bend Forward. And once again, congratulations to this neighborhood. Congratulations to those who took charge and also brought that result. And this is an exciting moment for everybody so that that change is possible. And thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for everybody coming.
Thank you. Here representing State Senator Boris Miles' office is Miss Birdie Kelly. You want to have any words? No? Okay.
I just want to say that the senator saw this event and wanted to make sure that he was represented because this does represent his way of thinking as well. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, now I'd like to bring up the individuals that I have the pleasure of serving with here on Missouri City Council. In order for the Gilbos, in order for the Pearsons to be able to have made this change, it required them to present us with a petition of signatures to which we voted on. And we have an ordinance in place, or had an ordinance in place that required that you had to get 90% initially of the people on your street to agree through a petition to try to bring about a street name change. Well, that means 9 out of every 10 homes if you got 10 homes on the street. Now, you know how difficult that is, especially if you have, say, people that are renting, you can't get in touch with the owners. It's just a myriad of things. So it was really a bar set so high that it made no sense. And I approached the city attorney at the time and asked about the ordinance and potentially bringing about an amendment because the residents in this community wanted the change. And again, as you heard, had been trying to bring about this change as probably earlier than 1992, but at least by 1992. And that's what, 30 years? Over 30 years ago. And so fast forward, we felt, because we had no empirical data to be able to determine what it would take to actually bring about the change. So we lowered the threshold, thanks to my colleagues on council and I at the time, to 70%. And with that 70% threshold change, the streets on Confederate, Drive, Court, and South were able to be changed to Prosperity. And we thought, right, Congressman, we thought that this was going to be like opening up the floodgates and everybody's going to want to bring about the change. Well, as you know, that did not happen. So we had to wait even longer to bring about the change here at Bedford Forest. I said it, all right. Bedford Forest Drive and Bedford Forest Court to Liberty Way, thanks to the Pearsons, Rodney and Angie and their leadership to work with the community members. It was the residents that brought about this change that said that they wanted it. I want to be clear. We as a council could have just arbitrarily made this change, but it was the residents, the majority of residents. I want to be clear about that too, because it wasn't 100%. It was the majority of residents that said this is what we want and this is what we desire. So I'd like to bring up first our councilwoman at large position 2. What? At large position 2.
There's 1 and 2. So
No. Miss Lynn Clouser, Councilwoman Lynn Clouser.
Hi, everybody.
I was like, I know I got that right.
I just knew he was going to bring up 1, but he brought up 2 first. So anyway, I just want to say thank you so much for the residents. If you live in Vicksburg, raise your hand. Yeah. I want to say thank you for being here to support today. Whether you live on Liberty Way, whether you don't, this is a good showing of support for your neighbors, the people who you see on a regular basis. And as someone who used to live here in Vicksburg, when I was purchasing my home, I remember telling my real estate agent, this was 17 years ago, don't put me on, there were certain streets, I said, don't put me on those streets. And who would know that I would be able to influence this wonderful change. And so, although I don't live in Vicksburg anymore, I feel like I'm still an honorary member. But, folks, elections matter. They do. When we knock on your doors, we are saying, hey, we want to represent you. And so people like myself, Jeff Boney, Sonia Brown Marshall, and our council, it was a unanimous vote because it was the right thing to do. Yeah. Even those council members that don't necessarily look like us, they knew it was the right thing to do. So today, I want to say congratulations, much liberty, much prosperity going forward. Yes. And Congressman Al Green, we love you. We appreciate you. And let me tell you what, I don't want to steal the thunder, but this costs, Jennifer Thomas Gomez is our director of development. How much does a street change cost? A couple of $1,000s. Because of this great man, you all don't have to come out of your pockets for any of the change because of Congressman Al Green. So we thank you and we love you. Thank you for being great partners with us.
Now bringing up City Councilwoman representing at-large position number 1, that is none other than Councilwoman Sonia Brown Marshall.
Hello, everyone. And to be truthful, when Jeff started calling us up, I was so positive he was going to call one first. My foot started moving, but it's okay. I am happy to be here on today to say hello, everyone. And I also want to bring greetings from our mayor who could not be here on today. He is extremely proud of this as well. I did have a conversation with him on this morning, and he does send you much congratulations as well. One thing I want to share with you guys, before I got on city council, I served on the Planning and Zoning Commission for a lot of years. And during that time, we get an opportunity to review plats or subdivision plats. And on those plats, the street names are there. But for years, the street names would be so tiny, you almost can't really see them. So we really didn't pay too much attention to that. But a couple of years ago, I was really proud. I was not on council at that time, but the rules and the ordinances were changed. And now developers must provide a list of all street names that will be in that subdivision to the city prior to that subdivision being approved. So that is important. Give that up. And I was excited to still have served on that commission when we started seeing street names come before us. And then it became intentional for us to make sure that we made sure that names did not come that would be reflective of things of tarnish or stain or hurt, if you will. So I'm happy now to serve with my colleagues. And Jeff Boney, thank you. Thank you for having the foresight to go before city legal and ask for a reduction so that we could get this street name changed. Be proud of all of yourselves. We are. All of you, give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you.
I want to introduce our city manager, our new and exciting, innovative city manager to the city of Missouri City. Let's give it up for Ms. Angel Jones.
Thank you all for coming out. Of course, being new to this area, this breaks my heart, and I mean, brings me so much joy. Not breaks my heart, but brings me so much joy to see a resident-led initiative that's coming to fruition. I would be remiss if I didn't point out all the staff that's here because they're the ones who make it work. The elected officials give us the policies, but it's the staff who put their heart and soul into what we do. So can all the staff raise your hands? Yeah. That's here. That's here. Thank you so much, and I'm so, you've got me started now, so I'm looking for the other streets to follow. So thank you.
All right, so last but certainly not least, I want to bring up, and it was stated a little earlier, a person that took this initiative near and dear to heart for many, many, many years, came before our council, even before I was a member of council, seeking the council's support to try to bring about these changes in the community, and decided to personally, and I want to reiterate, personally provide funds to take care of the street name changes. It didn't come out of TX9, his congressional budget. It came out of his personal bank account to cover the costs for, because I don't know if you know this, when you request a change here in the city for a street, the residents that petition have to pay for that, not the city. And so the Gilbos, the Pearsons, everybody was prepared to do it, but this man decided that it was important enough for him to support his community, his constituents, to come out of his pocket personally to cover the cost of this. And we thank him for his support. We thank him for his leadership, and we thank him for being here today to talk to us about the reason why he supports this so much. Let's give it up for Congressman Al Green.
Thank you very much. I am so honored to be here. I especially want to thank a good number of people, so please bear with me for just a moment. I think it indeed appropriate to note, in the words of a great songster, Sam Cooke. Now, some of you are probably not old enough to remember who Sam Cooke is. I celebrated my 25th birthday for the third time last year. And yesterday, I embarked upon my fourth 25th. On yesterday, 76 years ago, I interrupted my mother's trip to fish. She was on her way to go fishing so that I could come to the planet Earth. And she never allowed me to forget it, by the way. So I'm old enough to remember Sam Cooke, and he reminded us, Judge, that some things are a long time coming, but you know, and these are his words, a change gonna come. And a change has come to Fort Bend County because we have a new county judge who cares about all of the people in Fort Bend County, the Honorable K.P. George. Give him a hand, please. We have a state representative who is ubiquitous. He is Mr. Everywhere. I assure you that if there's something important and is happening to any one of us, he will be there for all of us. The Honorable Ron Reynolds. Would you give him a hand, please? And the Honorable Boris Miles is not here, but he is represented, and I assure you he would be here if he could. Would you give him a hand, please? We have a mayor who's not here. Mayor Alacat is doing an outstanding job. We just accorded some millions of dollars to help with the transportation system recently, and he was there for that. I think he deserves a big expression of appreciation as well. And these two council persons, I cannot say enough about them. They have brought not only a new look to the council, but they brought a new vision to the council. That vision is making a difference. Give them a hand, please. And it's a wonderful thing, Councilmember Boney, to hire an angel. I don't know how you do. How do you hire an angel? How do you get an angel on your staff? Yeah, so Fort Bend decided if we're going to have a manager, let's get an angel to manage. Give the angel a hand, please. And finally, I want to acknowledge Brother Boney. My staff is always looking out for me. Thank you. I want to acknowledge Brother Boney. I say Brother Boney. I've known him for so many years. I know him as a friend, but I have to acknowledge him as a council person. He has earned the right for me to say council person Boney. So I want you to know this. He did not hesitate, nor did he equivocate when the opportunity availed itself for him to take the lead. I'm very proud of what he has done to make a difference in such a short period of time. As has been said, this is something that has been contemplated for decades, but it took courage to move forward and get it done. To move from 90% to 60% was not easy because there were many people who thought that 90% wasn't high enough. But he was able to get it done. He deserves a big expression of appreciation. Jeffrey Boney, please. Now, I'm going to get to the check, but I want to say this. I know it's hot, but remember our forefathers suffered this kind of heat for 240 plus years. Yeah. So we can tolerate this just a bit longer. I want you to know this, my dear friends. In the words of C.A. Tindley, harder yet may be the fight. Harder yet may be the fight. And I'd like to give you some evidence of what I mean by harder yet may be the fight. So if you'll tolerate me as I try to manipulate this electronic device, I believe that I can do it. I'm going to play something that you probably have not heard, but that will make a difference if you should hear it. Let's see. Hold on just a second as I do this. Here we are. Hold on. Okay.
Hey guys, we are giving out
This is a commercial.
samples today. Just fill out our quick minute survey.
All right.
Republican Convention in Greensboro. Live coverage here on C-SPAN.
This is Governor DeSantis.
Hello, North Carolina.
Can you hear him? Listen carefully. Come closer if you can't hear. You need to hear this.
And I'm pleased to report that our great American comeback will begin when we send Joe Biden back to his basement in Delaware where he belongs.
That's not the important part.
I want to congratulate the legislators for their success in last election. Our party didn't have great success nationwide, as you know. We did in Florida, and you did by earning the supermajorities here in North Carolina. So congratulations on that, and congratulations on fixing your state Supreme Court and to have constitutional government back in the Tar Heel state. And I know you guys are going to do even better when we elect a Republican governor here in North Carolina.
Not important.
Y'all are one of the few in the Southeast that don't have a Republican governor. I can tell you it's better when you do. And I also look forward to, as president, restoring the name of Fort Bragg to our great military base in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And thank the people that have served there. And they're proud of their service there. And it's an iconic name and an iconic base. And we're not going to let political correctness run amok in North Carolina.
This is why I say harder yet may be the fight. In Congress, we fought hard to remove the name of this Confederate general from that base. Bragg was so hated by even his own men that it is said that they tried to assassinate him. We named it Fort Liberty. Liberty. This man says that if he becomes president, he's going to change the name back to Bragg. Harder yet may be the fight. We're changing the name today. But remember this. If we are not ever vigilant, somebody can decide to change that name back to what it was. It's up to us and it's up to posterity to make sure that we don't allow the hands of time to be rolled back. We have to put up the fight necessary to keep the name that the street now has, because the people here want what they have, which is liberty. That's right. Liberty. Now, let me just give you a little bit of information. I had my staff to compile this for me. I have to tell you this. A little bit of information about some of these people that you're aware of, but not well aware of. I want to tell you about Nathan Bedford Forrest. He was a slave trader, not just a slave owner. Nathan Bedford Forrest sold human beings. Nathan Bedford Forrest, however, engaged in something more than being the first grand wizard of the KKK. He was something more than being a Confederate general. He was the field commander at Fort Pillow when there was a massacre in 1864. This was in Tennessee. And this was following the surrender of Union soldiers. Reportedly, 200 Union soldiers were killed after they had surrendered. Many of them were former slaves. And according to a joint committee that conducted a report on this, Forrest's men nailed some black sergeants to logs and set the logs on fire. Who wants to live on a street where a man as ruthless as this served in the Confederacy? Nobody wants to live on this street with that name. Nobody of goodwill. But there are some people of ill will who would change the name back. It's our duty to make sure that that never happens. Now, dear friends, it's important for you to know this, that according to the report that I have from Axios, April 2021, there are 723 Confederate monuments that remain in the United States. 741 roadways have been named in some way associated with the Confederacy. 201 schools, 21 holidays honor the Confederacy. There are 73 Confederate statues that were removed in 2021. And here's information that will shock you. Approximately 350 schools in 21 states and the District of Columbia currently bear the names of Confederate figures. This was in 2021. Approximately 41 U.S. schools are named after Robert E. Lee. Many of our children have gone to schools named after Confederate soldiers. Since June 29th of 2020, at least 59 Confederate named schools have changed. But Texas has the most Confederate named schools in the country with 88. The state of Texas. Harder yet may be the fight, my dear friends. We have to take up this cause. We have to take up this cause with our words, our deeds, and our actions. When the Gilbos decided that they were going to do this, they didn't realize that they were putting themselves at risk, to be quite honest. Thank God nothing happened. But there are people who burn crosses in yards, who will challenge you in your home. Thank God they had the courage to be a spark to start this fire that has led us to this point in our history. Give them another hand, please. And thank God for the Pearsons who followed suit, who have put themselves at risk as well. Make no mistake about it. They put themselves at risk. Thank God for them as well and what they have done. Give them a hand, please. And I want you to know this. Yes, if you'll bring the instrument over. Yes, I'm proud to present this instrument. This is not the first, by the way. And I want to assure you that it won't be the last. If there is another street that bears a Confederate name, and there are many, don't worry about the cost. Worry about your own mentality and getting people to understand that we will no longer tolerate being subjugated to the lives of people who cannot stand up for themselves, who will not speak up for themselves. We will change every one of these names, and cost will not be an issue. I'm ready to bear the cost. Finally, you need to know these things. You need to know these things. I am a scion of the enslaved people whose lives were sacrificed to make America great. The greatness of America resides on the backs of 240 plus years of free labor. That's how America got its head start. 244 years plus of free labor. I'm a scion. Scion means you are a descendant, but it also has with it an air of nobility, because they should be recognized for what they sacrificed to produce. Others want to claim the credit for the success of this country. The truth is, the success exists because enslaved men, women, children, and babies suffered for centuries to make America great. That's right. So I want you to know, my dear friends, that this is not the end. We are part of a new beginning. Yeah, that's right. We are part of a new mindset that has decided that we are going to acknowledge that we are scions, that we are descendants, because the people that we are the descendants of are the reason that America has the greatness it has to this day. And we should be proud. Proud to be Scions. Finally, this. Do not allow anyone to convince you that you should be ashamed of your connectivity to the people that made America great. For too long, we have been ashamed. We didn't want to acknowledge it. Well, I acknowledge it to the extent that when I signed my official congressional letters, where it has my name, then it has member of Congress, right under that, it has scion of the enslaved people whose lives were sacrificed to make America great. And when I send that letter, as I just sent a letter to the president, and I sent a letter to the Houston Partnership, I want them to know that there is at least one in Congress who's not going to let them forget, not going to let them simply decide that they won't let their children know the truth. Their children need to know the truth because we have to have empathy for what happened. America ought to be ashamed of this 244-year history. I'm ashamed. I didn't enslave anybody, but we have to be ashamed. This is not something to be proud of. So we have a duty to carry this message forth. So today, in furtherance of carrying the message forth, I'm proud to present to Missouri City this check symbolizing some $1,975.40 for the purpose of bringing liberty to this community, bringing a sense of dignity to people who didn't want to live on streets named after Confederate soldiers and after the Confederacy itself. So as we do this, I know that there are some other things that are happening. And if is there a physician or a person who deals in health care among us?
Here's the person behind you.
Okay. All right, we're going to do this first.
She'll be all right.
All right.
Yeah, she's
All right. We're taking care of someone who needs a little bit of aid. So if the Missouri City recipient of Ms. Boney and council members, would you come over, please? Okay, council members, if you'll come over.
They're saying to some.
Oh, they're over there? Okay. All right. Let's acknowledge that we are now making the presentation to Missouri City. I believe the check is already in your hands, the actual check. So while you can keep this symbolic check, the other one you can negotiate.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, and finally, we'd like to present to the Pearsons, who had the courage to move forward with this. If you'll come and stand over on this side, please. Mr. Pearson. If you'll stand over next to Ms. Pearson, please, sir. All right. I have this flag that was flown over the Capitol of the United States of America to present to you. And I have certificates of special congressional recognition I presented to each of you. I shall read what it says on one, and each has similar language. So it says, the flag of the United States of America. This is to certify that the accompanying flag was flown over the United States Capitol at the request of the Honorable Al Green, Member of Congress. This flag is presented to Rodney Pearson, and there's one for Ms. Pearson as well, in honor of your service to the community, and on behalf of the constituents of the 9th Congressional District of Texas, I salute your commitment to upholding justice by recognizing and removing intolerance from street names across Missouri City, Texas, signed by me on this September 2nd, 2023, as your member of Congress. And right under where it says member of Congress, it says, scion of the enslaved Africans, sacrificed to make America great. My honor.
Thank you.
Congressman, can we take another photo with the
No,
council members?
Take another photo. And don't start making your plans now for Slavery Remembrance Day next year.
Congratulations.
We had over 1,000 people in attendance this year.
first time that Congressman Green has cut a check to the city of Missouri City to take care of these streets personally. He did it for all of the former Confederate streets, and this is the second time he's done it. And we want to thank him as well as, again, all of the residents. So let's go ahead. Yes, let's get them up.
Money, 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 money.
Okay, so now everybody can come on back. Come on up here. All of you in the picture.
Everybody. Hey.
Come on, everybody back here. Stand right here.
Look at someone take the picture. We want y'all all in.
need this.
Come on up, everybody.
So you, Congressman, I want you to come over so you can put your hand on the excuse me, y'all. Put your hands, everybody. Put your hand up, still a little more water. Hold on, y'all, just give us a second. We gotta get public works in place. So who's the Cleveland?
Hold on. Come over here. Your mom, sir. Wait a minute. Let's get one more hand. There we go.
All three, we will all pull and we will all point. Is everybody ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready for history?
Yes.
All right. 1, 2, 3. History!
Freedom!
How are you? So nice to see you. Thank you. Thank you. Speaker coming. Oh, it's an honor to be here.